Now, what we can have fun doing really quickly is this all interesting? Are we doing all right now? Right, okay, all right. Questions, comments, anything, everybody doing okay? Just going to keep rambling until somebody stops me. Right? So another thing to sort of do then is to go through character-wise, just for fun, to see where you playing the Duke, where you show up, how long you're gone. I mean, we were just seeing Merchant last week, or whenever it was. Was it this week? Whenever it was. And I was like, oh, how interesting. You really don't see these guys very much, actually. The three big guys. You don't actually, they're woven in. You actually don't, they don't actually have a lot of stage time. But collectively, of course, they're carrying the thing, right? So in some ways, and a lot like 12th Night too. There's not a lot of, they don't have a lot of stage time really. Unlike some of these other plays like a Macbeth, or you know what I mean? And then of course there's the famous like King Lear, you know, Get Your Break or your Hamlet break, whatever it is. But it's just that it's so interesting to sort of think about sort of equitable distribution that happens in some of the plays, and it's true here as well about when people sort of go back in. So he's really playing a lot with this weaving. It's almost always 3 threads, almost always. Sometimes it's 4 braids, right? Braids, and you can practically predict it. And as you begin to predict it, you're like, oh, we got Isabella, we got Lucio, we got the Duke. We got Isabella, we got Lucio, right? Just about when the time you get on a roll, what do you think happens? We change it up, right? And that's deliberate to keep you sort of the suspense going of it, right? So in a kind of, another way to kind of look at this is 4 scenes, and kind of marching along. And then sort of 2 big scenes, and then like kind of a mess of stuff here, and then sort of the tape, right? You can kind of feel the rhythm of the way even we're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. You know what I mean? You're kind of building a rhythm of it. In one of the history plays, we noted that it was very, very methodical. It was Richard II. Very, very methodical, the first half. They were all about the same length, and we had the weaving, you had the English, the French, whatever, it's war, it's novel, whatever, they're all the same, right? War, and all of a sudden, the moment came, can't remember, was it? The moment came, and the second half was completely different. Unstructured, not methodical. You just kind of looked at it and went, oh my God, because guess what? Oh, I remember. It is Richard II, I think. All the women were gone. There were no more women in the second half of the play, right? I'm like, hey, big point. All the women were gone. I'm like, of course the world would fall apart. They kicked all the women off the island.
That became a trope. In a couple of different plays, yeah.
Right? I think it was Richard II. And then you could see where it's like, oh, these little spiky things that were happening. It's like, because the world was completely started ordered, ended unordered, didn't it? It does in that play. So whatever the assumption you want to believe about Richard II, good king, bad, you know, people will say, look, he's king. Let's just go for it. What difference does it, you know, make? One over another, right? Then through the course of the play, you could see structurally how the structure was responding emotionally to what was going on. So this is why I'm making this case for really kind of looking at how this works, because it works with you. It doesn't work against you. It's to be taken advantage of. That here you have only 90 lines. So you better get going. There's no time to waste, is there? There's no time to say, well, I'm not going to make a hard choice. But so, no, you got to make a hard choice. You've decided, play's started, get going. No time. I don't have any time for that, right? Just by the way you look at it. So it's just kind of interesting, sort of this, the motor's getting going. He's setting up the pins. Right? He's really setting up the pins, and then he's got this cockamamie scheme that's going to really like solve everything. He's going to do this little exchange deal in the middle of the night, okay? And from that, all the consequences then tumble down, don't they? Right?